There is a hush in the world that cannot be found in noise or busyness, a silence that is not the absence of sound but the presence of something eternal like a breath the universe itself is holding, waiting for you to remember who you are. In this quiet, you can hear the soul's invitation to walk not as a seeker of outcomes, but as the living evidence of the very result you desire. To live not as one who hopes for change, but as one who has already become the change. This is the path of walking in the end result, of letting your every step rise from the knowing that the destination is not in the distance, but alive in your presence. From the first light of morning, when the sun stretches itself across the horizon, you are offered a mirror each day, a new canvas, each moment a silent whisper asking, what if you walked as though everything you long for is already yours? What if you lived as though all the love, all the healing, all the freedom is not a future event, but a present reality? The oak tree does not rush to become tall. It stretches upward from the silent, knowing that it is already complete within the acorn. The river does not strive to reach the sea. It surrenders, trusting that its essence is always flowing home. Why then do we insist on postponing our joy, our peace, our fulfillment, waiting for signs, for validation, for the world to catch up to the miracle we already are? The mind, shaped by years of survival, whispers a doctrine of lack. Once you achieve, then you will become. Once you are loved, then you will be worthy. Once you are healed, then you will be whole. But the soul, older than memory, softer than breath, knows a greater truth. You are not on a journey to earn your completion, but to reveal it. The Tao Te Ching reminds us, the sage does nothing, yet nothing is left undone. It is not through striving that the flower blooms. It is through surrender to its own inner blueprint, a blueprint that already holds the fullness of spring within every winter seed. And so it is with you. The end result is not a place you reach by force, it is a state of being you remember by grace. Imagine for a moment that the life you seek is not on the other side of effort, but just beneath the surface of your surrender. Imagine that your deepest desires are not distant stars to be reached, but signals of the light already burning within you, longing to be seen, felt, and expressed. To walk in the end result is to drop the armor of waiting, of hoping, of bargaining with fate. It is to wake up in the morning and wear the energy of completion like a robe around your shoulders. If you seek love, become the very vibration of love in each interaction, letting your eyes reflect the truth that all who meet you are worthy of love simply because they exist. If you seek healing, carry yourself as one who is already whole, trusting that every cell in your body is listening to the language of your belief that the great healer within you moves through trust, not fear. This is not wishful thinking. It is alignment with spiritual law. Every thought you hold, every feeling you claim is a seed planted in the field of the infinite. The harvest comes not by chance, but by resonance. Jesus spoke of asking and believing you have already received, and it shall be given unto you. Rumi beckoned, what you seek is seeking you, not in the future, not in the elsewhere, but here in the holy depth of now. And so I ask you, gently but firmly, what if you dropped the heavy burden of becoming and instead stepped into the lightness of being? What if you abandoned the chase for approval and stood still in the knowing that your worth is not an achievement but an inheritance? Every time you believe you must do more, prove more, become more, you strengthen the illusion of distance between you and your source. But the moment you rest in your own completeness, you become the field where miracles are not just possible, they are inevitable. The ego protests, insisting on stories of not yet, not enough, not ready. It clings to the comfort of striving, to the familiar ache of postponement. But you are not your ego. You are the awareness watching it struggle, the silent witness who has never been diminished by any defeat, who has never been enlarged by any victory. The world may reward achievement, but the universe responds to alignment. When you become the embodiment of the end result, the circumstances of your life begin to bend around your vibration, rearranging themselves to match your inner frequency. Picture a tuning fork struck in a silent room, its single note awakening every sympathetic string. When you hold the energy of the end result within your being, life itself responds as an echo. Opportunities appear not because you chased them, but because you became magnetic to their arrival. Love finds you not because you demanded it, but because you radiated its presence. Healing emerges not because you fixed yourself, but because you finally ceased resisting the wholeness that was always beneath the wound. The greatest act of faith is not in waiting for the world to change, but in choosing to embody the change before you see it. Walk with the bearing of one who knows. All is well, all is unfolding, all is already given. The Buddhists call this the path of the Bodhisattva, not striving for enlightenment in some distant lifetime, but bringing heaven to earth by walking as if it is already here. When you hold the end result within your consciousness, you become the answer to your own prayer. This is not arrogance, it is humility before the creative power that lives in you. The same force that spins the galaxies and stirs the tides is beating in your chest, thinking through your mind, loving through your heart. When you identify with the small self, you become a beggar at the gates of your own abundance. But when you remember your oneness with the divine, you realize you are the beloved child, the honored guest, the inheritor of all that is good and holy. Dare to walk in the end result. Let your actions, your words, your silence be saturated with the assurance that you are already standing in the land you once dreamed of reaching. The energy of having is more powerful than the energy of wanting. When you move from wholeness, you become a lighthouse. Your light does not beg to be seen, it simply shines, and those who need it find their way home. It is easy to be distracted by appearances, to judge your worth by the reflection in the mirror, by the balance in the bank, by the words of others. But the end result is not a physical destination, it is an energetic state. You can possess the world and feel empty, or have nothing and walk in peace. The secret is not in the world, but in the world within you. When you turn your attention inward, when you rest in the field of being, you become immune to the turbulence of circumstance. You are rooted, unshakable, like the mountain that does not move when the storm passes through. Let go of the story that says you are unfinished, unworthy, unready. Let go of the waiting room. Step out of the line and into the present, where all that you desire already exists in essence. If you want to be abundant, practice gratitude for the wealth that is already flowing through your life, the breath, the sunrise, the love you give and receive. If you want to be healed, speak to your body as a temple already restored. Thank every cell for its devotion to your aliveness. If you want to know peace, stop trying to manage the world and rest in the unchanging silence at your core. Every spiritual teacher has spoken this truth in their own way, and still we forget again and again, seduced by the illusion of distance. But now, in this sacred moment, you can remember. You can turn your gaze inward, drop the armor of striving, and allow yourself to become the living testimony of the result you seek. The world may not understand. It may call you naive, unrealistic, foolish, but the world has always misunderstood those who walk by faith, not by sight. The caterpillar cannot comprehend the flight of the butterfly, but the butterfly knows it was always meant to soar. Trust the whisper of your own becoming. Trust that what you hold within will soon be mirrored without. Trust that the universe conspires in favor of those who dare to live as if the dream is already real. There is a wisdom older than the mind, a knowing that does not argue or defend. This wisdom lives in your breath, in your heartbeat, in the silent center of your being. It calls you to stop looking for permission, to stop waiting for the perfect moment, and to begin living the truth you wish to see reflected in your life. Walk in the end result, and watch as the world rearranges itself to accommodate your certainty. If doubt arises, and it will welcome it with compassion, but do not let it take the lead. Doubt is a visitor, not a ruler. Invite it in for tea, listen to its worries, then send it on its way. Return to your center, to the knowing that you are already home. If fear grips you, do not resist it. Let it move through you like wind through an open field, knowing that what remains is the unshakable stillness of your true self. Every great journey begins with a single step, but the destination is not a place, it is a way of being. The mystics knew this, the sages sang of it, the poets wrote love letters to it. The kingdom of heaven is not elsewhere, it is within you. Enlightenment is not a mountain to climb, but a veil to lift. The end result is not a trophy to be won, but a presence to be inhabited. Let your every word be a declaration of the world you wish to see. Let your every gesture be an act of faith in the goodness that is already here. When you walk in the end result, you become a living prayer, an answered petition, a walking miracle. The greatest illusion is that you are separate from what you desire. The greatest truth is that you are it already. The sage does not chase the sun. She opens her eyes and sees the light everywhere. The wise man does not seek water. He becomes the river flowing through every drought with quiet assurance. Soften into this truth. Let it seep into your bones, your cells, your breath. There is nothing to achieve, only something to remember. The path is not forward, but inward. Every longing is a call to presence. Every ache a signpost pointing you back to yourself. Let the words of Rumi ring in your heart. Why are you so enchanted by this world? when a mine of gold lies within you. You are not here to earn your worth. You are here to unveil it. Not here to find love, but to become it. Not here to strive for freedom, but to awaken to the liberty that has always been your birthright. The ego thrives on postponement, someday, somewhere, somehow. But the soul lives only in the present. Now is the miracle. Now is the holy ground. Now is the end result. Let every breath be a return, every step an affirmation, every moment a reminder that you are the outcome you once sought. There is a power that moves mountains, that parts seas, that spins the galaxies in silent harmony. That power is not distant, not reserved for the chosen few. It is alive in you, breathing you, dreaming through you. When you align with it, when you walk in its knowing, there is nothing you cannot create, nothing you cannot become. Not by force, but by presence. Not by striving, but by surrender. The masters have shown us the mind creates separation, but the heart reveals unity. The intellect says, I will be, but the spirit whispers, I am. To walk in the end result is to align your heart with the truth of your being, to let your mind be the servant of your soul, to move through the world as a vessel of love, not a seeker of it. There will be days when the world feels heavy, when the illusion of lack presses in, when the old stories clamor for your attention. On those days, pause, breathe, place your hand on your heart, and remember, you are not your story, not your struggle, not your striving. You are the sky in which every storm arises and dissolves. You are the light that persists through every shadow. Let the energy of the end result guide you like a compass. When you are tempted to doubt, to compare, to complain, return to the truth. You are already enough, already loved, already whole. The rest is just the unfolding of the outer world to match your inner reality. You need not wait for life to prove your worth. You are the proof. You are the evidence of the divine made manifest, the word made flesh, the dream realized in the act of being. Release the addiction to outcomes, the obsession with measurement, the hunger for applause. These are echoes of a world that has forgotten its own holiness. You are here to remember, to reclaim, to rejoice in the simple fact of your existence. Walk softly, speak kindly, love freely. Let your presence be the answer to the world's unspoken prayers. Let your joy be a revolution, your peace a protest against the tyranny of fear. To walk in the end result is to become transparent to grace, to let the light of your soul shine unobstructed by the clouds of doubt. It is to become so aligned with your inner knowing that nothing can shake you from your center, not praise nor blame, not success nor failure, not gain nor loss. You are not a beggar at the banquet of life. You are the honored guest. Sit at the table with confidence. Taste the sweetness of your own being. Drink deeply from the well of your own worth. And when you forget, as all of us do, return again and again to the inner sanctuary. Sit in silence. Listen for the still, small voice that reminds you, all is well, all is here, all is now. Let this be your daily practice, not to become, but to remember, not to fix, but to reveal, not to chase, but to allow. There is a beauty that cannot be earned, only recognized, a peace that cannot be found, only reclaimed, a love that cannot be lost, only revealed. You are the end result. You are the fulfilled promise, the answered prayer, the living miracle. So walk with the gentle certainty of one who knows the journey is already complete. Walk as the beloved, as the whole, as the free. And in your walking, may the world remember itself through your eyes. May the forgotten be healed by your presence. May the hungry be fed by your peace. This is the invitation. This is the path. This is the truth you were born to live. Walk in the end result, beloved soul, and let your life become the miracle the world has been waiting for. And so, as the path unfolds before you, shimmering not with promises of tomorrow, but with the quiet radiance of today, feel how each step becomes less about arrival and more about revelation. There is a soft mystery to walking in trust, a grace that seeps into your bones when you no longer barter with the future, but greet each instant as a living altar of fulfillment. As you surrender the need for signs, you become a sign yourself, an embodied message that wholeness is not a myth or a prize withheld, but the natural state of a heart aligned with the infinite. Notice how the world responds differently to your quiet certainty. Where you once moved with hesitation, tiptoeing through uncertainty, now you stand with the poise of the mountain, unmoved by passing clouds, untroubled by shifting winds. Every encounter becomes an opportunity not to prove, but to affirm. not to persuade, but to inspire through the silent testimony of your presence. You need not convince anyone of your worth, for it radiates as effortlessly as fragrance from a rose, subtle, uncontrived, undeniable. Let your inner gaze turn gently away from the horizon of longing and return to the miracle unfolding in your own hands. Here is where the subtle alchemy occurs. The moment you stop measuring your life by unmet desires, the moment you stop treating peace as a transaction, you realize that abundance is not an event, but a way of seeing. The fields do not wait for permission to turn green. The stars do not hold counsel to debate their right to shine. And so, you too are invited to stop waiting for conditions and begin shining from the core of your being. Within you, a deeper wisdom calls you out from under the spell of striving. It does not shout over the din of the world. It beckons softly in the language of intuition, the gentle tug of what feels true before it can be explained. Follow that tug, even when reason demands a map. There are miracles reserved for those willing to walk by faith, trusting the unseen currents that guide the river to the sea. Your soul knows the way, not as a theory, but as a memory, one older than your name, older than your doubts. Every breath you draw is a testament to the generosity of the universe. Life does not withhold, it overflows. Even in moments of loss, something new is given an insight, a tenderness, a depth that could not have been born through comfort alone. Recognize the subtle gifts wrapped in adversity, for often what appears as an ending is the disguised beginning of a greater unfolding. The universe is not capricious, it is creative. Trust that what leaves your life carves space for what longs to enter. Release the demand that the world explain itself to you. Let the need for certainty dissolve into the wonder of possibility. There is no formula for awakening, only the willingness to be astonished by your own resilience, your own light, your own capacity to rise from ashes and sing. The sacred is not a reward, but a recognition, not a destination, but a deepening awareness that you have always been inside the very thing you have been seeking. Your journey is not about collecting answers, but about dissolving the questions that kept you from knowing your own essence. When you move beyond the mind's hunger for definition, you begin to taste the quiet ecstasy of being undefended. You are no longer a collection of wounds or achievements, but a living mystery, endlessly unfolding, shaped by love itself. Let your joy be as unconditional as the sunrise, and your compassion as boundless as the night sky. Allow yourself to bless the world simply by being at ease in your own existence. Every moment you refuse to shrink from your own brilliance, you become a silent permission slip for others to do the same. In this way, your healing ripples outward not as a proclamation, but as an energy that softens hearts and awakens sleeping dreams. Honor the pauses, the spaces between your thoughts, the gentle hush that arrives when words fall away. In that silence, something holy gathers, a clarity beyond logic, a peace that is not an escape, but a return to what is real. Do not be afraid of emptiness, for it is the womb of all creation. From stillness, life is reborn. From surrender, power emerges. Each day as you meet yourself anew, let gratitude be the lens through which you perceive the world. Gratitude is not a passive acceptance of what is, but an active participation in the miracle of being alive. It transforms the ordinary into the sacred and reveals the divine choreography at work in every coincidence, every encounter, every breath. If you stumble, let it be with grace. If you fall, rise not with bitterness, but with a gentle certainty that nothing real is ever lost, only transformed, only moved into another form of beauty. Let your setbacks become teachers, your doubts become thresholds, your heartbreak become the portal through which deeper love enters. The truth of your being cannot be damaged by any circumstance. It does not waver when the world grows dark, for it is the very source of light. The soul's essence is untouchable, unbreakable, unfathomably radiant. And as you align your mind and heart with this knowing, you begin to see the world through new eyes. Where others see obstacles, you see openings. Where others see endings, you see eternity unfolding in real time. Do not hurry the process. The rose blooms when it is ready, not when it is forced. Trust the timing of your own becoming. Every stage has its grace. The longing, the not knowing, the waiting, these are the soil in which wisdom grows. Hold space for your own unfolding with the same tenderness you would offer a child. In the gentle acceptance of where you are, the seeds of where you are going are quietly germinating. Let forgiveness become your path to freedom, not only for those who have hurt you, but for your own self, for every time you believed you were less than worthy. Forgiveness is the doorway to innocence reclaimed, to seeing yourself not as a project in need of repair, but as a work of art in progress, each brushstroke perfect in its imperfection, each flaw a necessary part of the masterpiece. Walk in humility, not as one diminished, but as one aware of the great mystery animating all things. True humility is the recognition that you are both the wave and the ocean, both a unique expression and an indivisible part of the whole. From this awareness, pride dissolves into awe, and competition yields to collaboration. You no longer measure yourself against others, for you know that every soul is walking home by a different road. The end result is not a goal to possess, but a frequency to embody. When you attune yourself to that frequency, life becomes less a puzzle to solve and more a song to sing. Let your life be that song, rising, falling, trembling, soaring. Let its melody remind the world that hope is never wasted, that love is always possible, that the most radical act is simply to be fully, unapologetically yourself. So let this moment be enough. Let this breath be a cathedral, this silence a sacrament, this presence a prayer answered before it was spoken. There is nothing more you must do, nothing more you must become. The miracle is not waiting in the wings, it is here, taking center stage as you, through you, for you. Trust this, bless this. Walk in the radiance of this truth, and let your every step write a new scripture of what it means to be alive, awake, and unafraid to walk in the end result, now, always, forever. And as you move ever deeper into the quiet miracle of your own being, sense how the boundaries that once defined your limits begin to dissolve, as mist gives way to the morning Sunday. There is no final threshold to cross, no applause that marks the end of your awakening. The journey itself is a circle, each ending a beginning, each step both a homecoming and a gentle setting forth. In the presence of this infinite unfolding, you become the witness and the wonder, the traveler and the ground beneath your feet. Feel how the breath slows, as if bowing in reverence to the very life that moves through you. No longer chasing tomorrows, no longer rehearsing for worthiness, you simply abide in the heart of this moment, and the moment expands, unhurried and luminous. Each heartbeat resounds with the silent music of your belonging, a melody older than the stars, sweeter than any dream of arrival. The world around you softens, and even sorrow becomes sacred, a veil briefly drawn across the face of joy to remind you of its preciousness. Let your trust deepen into surrender, not as defeat, but as the purest celebration of being alive. Let every doubt be greeted with compassion, every shadow honored as part of the dance of light. There is no part of you unworthy of the holy gaze of love. There is no ache that cannot be enfolded in the arms of acceptance. The divine you have sought in distant places now stands quietly at the center of your soul, patient and unchanging, waiting for you to recognize yourself in its reflection. Bless even the pain, for it has carved rivers of mercy through the landscape of your life. Bless the longing, for it has shaped your wings for flight. Bless the unknown, for it has kept you supple, open, ready to receive the gifts you could never have demanded. There is a wisdom that lives in the letting go, a kindness woven through every unanswered prayer. In the tapestry of your days, nothing is wasted, nothing is lost. Even your stumbles have been the choreography of grace. Let this final knowing settle like soft rain into the soil of your heart. You are already living the end result, for you are the fulfillment the universe has been waiting to express. In your gentleness there is power. In your silence, a language the world aches to remember. You do not walk alone, the source walks with you, breathes through you, sings your name in the wind and the turning of seasons. You are both the answered question and the asking itself. There is nothing more to reach, nothing more to strive for. Lay down your seeking and step fully into your own radiance, unashamed and unhurried. You are not here to become, you are here to reveal. Every cell of your being is a hymn of wholeness, every glance a blessing, every moment an unrepeatable gift. Let life flow through you unresisted, a river remembering its way to the sea. Let your presence be the miracle, you're living the silent revelation. So go gently, beloved soul. Walk on, not as one who hopes, but as one who knows. Let your days be a sacred echo of the truth you carry. The end result has always been here, blossoming in your willingness to say yes to the life that loves you. And when the world grows loud, when you are tempted to forget, return to the well of stillness within. Drink deeply of your own enoughness. In that silence, hear again the oldest promise. You are not separate. You are not lacking. You are, and always have been, the light you sought, the love you yearned for, the healing you believed was somewhere else. Breathe, rest, and step forward in the quiet majesty of the one who remembers, I am already whole. I am already home. I am already walking in the end result. There will come a time in the sacred stillness of your days when you will pause and almost breathlessly ask yourself, who is the person I truly long to be? Perhaps this question arises not in triumph, but in the hush between heartbeats, in the aftermath of disappointment, or in the gentle weariness that finds you when striving has run its course. This is not the inquiry of the ego hungry for applause or affirmation. This is the voice of the soul, ancient and true, inviting you to remember, to awaken, to return. Being the person you want to be is not a journey of acquisition, but a revelation. It is not about adding layer upon layer of achievement, status, or validation, but about peeling away what is false and unneeded until only the luminous core remains. The Tao Te Ching whispers, when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. And so the path is not one of becoming, but of unbecoming, all that is not you, so that what is eternal may shine through. In this world, you have been taught to measure yourself by shifting standards and borrowed yardsticks. You have worn masks crafted by the hands of others, roles, expectations, shoulds, and in chasing those illusions, you have often run away from the quiet, indwelling voice that simply says, you are already enough. You have learned to compete, to compare, to carve out an identity from fleeting victories and shallow praise, forgetting the deeper truth that you are not a drop in the ocean of humanity, but the whole ocean contained in a single drop. You are not a stranger lost in a foreign land. You are the beloved, returning home to your own sacred heart. The person you want to be is not somewhere far away, waiting at the end of an arduous pilgrimage or hidden in the future tense. The person you want to be is here, breathing through you, patient beneath the clamor of your mind, unwavering in the midst of all the stories you have told yourself. You do not need to travel 1,000 miles to find them, nor climb the highest mountain or cross the wildest sea. You need only to be still, to listen, to allow the gentle unveiling of your truest self. The ego will tell you that you must do more, achieve more, fix yourself before you are worthy of your own love. It will entice you with the promise that fulfillment lives just beyond the next milestone, that peace will be yours when conditions align. But the soul, timeless and unhurried, reminds you, the garden you seek is already blooming within you. The only work is to lift the veil, to notice, to remember. What if you stopped trying to become someone and instead allowed yourself to be? What if you traded self-judgment for self-compassion, replaced striving with surrender, and began to trust in the wisdom that formed you? The very same intelligence that orchestrates the blossoming of a rose, the rising of the sun, the silent spinning of galaxies lives within you. Your essence is not broken, not deficient, not waiting to be completed by some outer circumstance. You are already whole. Your longing is not evidence of lack, but of hidden wholeness calling you home. To be the person you want to be is to dissolve the illusions of separation. The world will insist that you are your accomplishments, your failures, your appearance, your reputation. But these are only passing clouds across the vast sky of your consciousness. You are not the weather, you are the sky itself, boundless and eternal, able to hold storm and sunlight without being defined by either. Like the ancient sages, remember, you are not the waves on the surface, you are the deep, unchanging ocean beneath. Awakening to this truth is the beginning of freedom. For so long you have searched for answers in the world outside, approval, control, possessions, victories, believing that something out there could finally make you whole. But the more you chase, the more distant the horizon appears. The more you cling to the fleeting, the more you miss the enduring treasure within. Stop, breathe, return. Within you there is a stillness, a silence untouched by any circumstance. It is the space between your thoughts, the quiet center that remains steady even as life rises and falls. In that place, you are not defined by your past, not imprisoned by old wounds, not shackled by anyone's opinion. You are free. You are infinite. You are enough. Rumi, the poet mystic, writes, you wander from room to room hunting for the diamond necklace that is already around your neck. How many years have you spent searching for what you already are? How many lifetimes have you looked for worth in the eyes of others, forgetting that your value is woven into the very fabric of your being? There is nothing you need to become. There is only the invitation to remember. Let the past fall away like autumn leaves, no longer clinging to branches that cannot hold them. The mistakes, the regrets, the moments you wish you could rewrite, they do not define you. They are compost for your growth, teachers dressed as trouble, guides in disguise. Release them with gratitude. Thank them for what they taught you and then let them go. Your true self is not a prisoner of the past, but a child of eternity. Every day, the world invites you to wear new masks, to play new roles, to forget your true face. But the invitation of the soul is different. It says, remove the armor, drop the pretense, stand naked in your own presence, unafraid of being seen, unafraid of being real. For only when you dare to be real can you touch the real in others. Only when you are authentic can you invite authenticity. Only when you live from your essence can you truly live. Being the person you want to be is not an act of willpower, but an act of surrender. It is not about controlling your circumstances, but about allowing your true nature to guide you. The oak tree does not force itself to grow. It surrenders to the intelligence encoded within its seed. You too have a blueprint of greatness imprinted in your soul. Trust it, water it with kindness. Expose it to the sunlight of self-love. Protect it from the weeds of self-doubt and comparison. And above all, be patient. The flowering comes not by striving, but by allowing. Sometimes you will fall, sometimes you will forget. Sometimes the old voices will rise up and try to convince you that you are not enough, not ready, not worthy. When this happens, do not fight them. Meet them with compassion. Thank them for their concern and then return to your center. You are not your thoughts. You are the witness of your thoughts, the observer who is never diminished by what is observed. Jesus taught the kingdom of heaven is within you. He did not say it would be yours after a lifetime of toil or self-improvement. He said, it is within now in this very breath. The only separation is the illusion that you are separate. Drop the illusion and you drop the burden. Drop the burden and you rise. Forgive yourself for every time you abandoned your own heart in search of belonging. Forgive yourself for every time you betrayed your truth to avoid discomfort. Forgive yourself for every moment you judged your reflection in the mirror or measured your worth by someone else's yardstick. These are not failures. They are invitations to return. Return to gentleness. Return to authenticity. Return to the unshakable core of who you are. Being the person you want to be means letting go of the need for outside validation. The world cannot give you what it did not create. Your worth is not up for debate. It was assigned to you by the same source that painted the sunrise, composed the symphony of the stars, and called your name into existence. You do not need the world's permission to be whole. You only need your own. The ego will argue, but what if I am not enough? What if I am rejected, criticized, unloved? And yet, the soul answers, what if you are already enough? What if you are loved beyond measure, not because of what you do, but because of who you are? There is nothing to prove. There is only the gentle art of being real, being present, being alive to the miracle of your own existence. Do not wait for the world to recognize your value. Recognize it yourself, and the world will reflect it back to you in unexpected ways. Walk into every room knowing you are the guest of honor at the banquet of life. Speak with the quiet confidence of one who knows their soul is eternal. Act not to impress, but to express. Love not to possess, but to bless. Give not to be noticed, but because you cannot help but overflow. True power is not dominance, but alignment. When you are aligned with your soul, you do not need to shout to be heard or strive to be seen. Your presence becomes its own language. You enter a room, and others sense the calm within you, the calm that comes from knowing you are enough right now, as you are. Let your days unfold from this center. Let your actions arise not from a need to fill a void, but from the abundance of being full. Let your relationships be sacred ground for authenticity, not performance. Love yourself first, not out of arrogance, but out of the recognition that you cannot give what you have not claimed as your own. Imagine for a moment that you are a lighthouse on a foggy shore. Your task is not to chase ships, nor to convince the world of your light. Your only task is to stand in your radiance, steady and unwavering, so that others may find their way. The person you want to be is already the light within you. It does not need to be invented, only uncovered. This is the paradox. When you stop trying to be someone, you become the very person you have always longed to be. When you stop resisting what is, you allow what could be. When you stop hiding, you shine. And in your shining, you give permission for the world to do the same. Every moment is a threshold, an invitation to choose authenticity over approval, presence over performance, being over becoming. Life will offer endless opportunities to forget who you are, but each forgetting is only a prelude to remembering. And every time you remember, you return with greater tenderness, greater wisdom, greater freedom. You are not your wounds, though you have been wounded. You are not your losses, though you have known grief. You are not your failures, though you have stumbled and fallen. These are chapters in the story, but they are not the author. The author is the awareness that holds it all, the witnessing presence, spacious and unshakable, that has never been diminished by any experience. To be the person you want to be is to dwell in that awareness, to make your home in the heart of your own being. It is to look at yourself with eyes of love, to speak to yourself with words of gentleness, to hold yourself in the embrace of forgiveness. It is to know beyond all doubt that you are enough, not in some future moment, but now. The journey does not require you to renounce the world, but to see it with new eyes. Every encounter becomes an opportunity to practice presence. Every challenge becomes an invitation to respond with love rather than fear. Every disappointment becomes a doorway to deeper truth. Release the habit of striving for what you already possess. Release the compulsion to fix what was never broken. Release the need to explain or defend your existence. You are not here to meet the world's expectations. You are here to meet your own soul. The person you want to be is not waiting in the wings, hoping for their cue. They are center stage right now, waiting for you to claim them. They are not an image to be perfected, but a truth to be lived. They are not a distant ideal, but a living reality, breathing in you as you. Look into the eyes of the people you love. See in them the same longing, the same struggle, the same divine spark. Remember that everyone you meet is also searching for permission to be real, to be seen, to be enough. Be that permission. Be the safe space where others can lay down their masks, if only for a moment. There is a freedom that comes from self-acceptance that cannot be purchased, cannot be bestowed, cannot be lost. It is the birthright of every soul, the silent song that plays beneath every story, the melody that remains when all other music fades. Claim that freedom, walk in it, breathe it in with every breath. The spiritual path is not a ladder to be climbed, but a spiral of remembering. You will circle back to old lessons, revisit ancient wounds, encounter familiar doubts. This is not failure, it is deepening. With each return, you bring more compassion, more understanding, more light. Let go of the illusion of arrival. There is no finish line in the journey of being. There is only the eternal now, the unfolding moment, the sacred chance to be fully alive. Do not postpone your own presence for another day. Be the person you want to be now, in this imperfect, miraculous, fleeting moment. The sages and mystics of every age have tried to tell us, you are the treasure you seek. You are the love you long for. You are the peace you pursue. Everything you have been searching for is not hidden in the world outside, but quietly waiting for your attention within. Trust this. Rest in this. Let it be enough. When the storms of life rage, return to your center. When the voices of doubt grow loud, anchor yourself in the truth that cannot be shaken. When you feel lost, remember that the path home is always open, always illuminated from within. You are not required to be perfect. You are only required to be present. The divine does not love you because you are flawless. It loves you because you are its own creation, radiant and real and irreplaceable. Allow yourself to be human. Allow yourself to feel. Allow yourself to stumble and rise, to ache and heal, to laugh and cry. There is holiness in every experience if you will only bring your presence to it. And as you live from this place, soft, unguarded, awake, you will discover a new kind of power. Not the power to control, but the power to trust. Not the power to dominate, but the power to inspire. Not the power to escape pain, but the power to be with it, to learn from it, to let it shape you into someone more open, more compassionate, more real. There will be days when you forget. There will be moments when the old patterns return. This, too, is part of the journey. Do not shame yourself for being human. Gently, patiently, bring yourself back. Again and again, return to the truth that you are already enough. Let your life be a testament to presence. Let your words be a balm for weary hearts. Let your actions arise from love, not fear. Let your very being be a sanctuary for yourself and others. In the end, being the person you want to be is not about constructing a perfect self, but about living as your true self, unfiltered, unafraid, and unashamed. It is about standing in the light of your own presence, radiating the truth that you are, always have been, and always will be enough. You are the breath of the divine, the song of the universe, the light in the window that guides the lost safely home. Live from that place, and your life will be the answer to every question your soul has ever asked. And so when you wake each morning, do not ask, "What must I do to become?" Instead, whisper gently to your heart, "How can I allow myself to be?" And in the space that follows, let your soul speak. Let your spirit rise. Let your true self, timeless, whole, and holy, step into the world, unencumbered by doubt or fear. For the person you want to be is not out of reach. They are not hidden in the shadows, nor lost in the past. They are here, now, waiting to be lived. Be that person, not tomorrow, not when you are ready, not when the world gives you permission. Now, this is your invitation. This is your homecoming. This is the miracle of being. And so as you stand quietly at the edge of your own becoming, let yourself notice the gentle miracle in this very moment. Beneath the surface noise of the world, beneath every question and longing, there breathes an ancient stillness that belongs to you. This stillness is not empty, but infinitely alive, a silent reservoir of wisdom, like a deep well whose waters never run dry. Each breath is drawn from that well, and each breath is an act of trust, a small declaration that you are worthy of the space you inhabit, worthy of the love that pulses invisibly around you, worthy of simply being. Let yourself feel into the richness of this truth. You are not required to strive for what you already possess. There is no hidden gatekeeper, no cosmic tally keeper weighing your days and nights, no list of invisible requirements you must fulfill to earn your right to shine. Instead, there is a boundless welcome, the universe itself greeting you with every sunrise, every kindness, every unrepeatable heartbeat. You belong, not because you have done something to secure your place, but because you are woven of the very fabric of belonging itself. Do not hurry past this knowing. Savor it. Allow it to unfurl through you like light gradually filling a darkened room, revealing new dimensions you had never noticed before. You are not here to conquer the world nor to bend reality to your will. You are here to witness the sacredness hidden in all things, to celebrate the small, ordinary moments as the true altars of transformation. Each encounter, each word spoken in love, each silent act of forgiveness becomes a thread in the tapestry of your soul's awakening. There will be times when the world demands that you move faster, try harder, speak louder. In those moments, let yourself remember the gentle authority of presence. You do not need to compete with the thunder to be heard. Your very being is the quiet rainfall that nourishes life. The trees grow not by shouting their purpose, but by quietly stretching toward the light. The river does not prove its worth by racing, but by allowing itself to flow, embracing every curve, every stone, every possibility. And as you deepen into the practice of being, let gratitude become your constant companion, not as a forced exercise, but as a natural blossoming of awareness. Gratitude is not simply a feeling. It is the eyes through which you see the world, the ears with which you listen for the music of the divine woven into every moment. It is the recognition that even your challenges, your unanswered prayers, your longings and delays are all part of a perfect unfolding you cannot yet fully comprehend. In this space of gratitude, old resentments begin to soften. The heavy armor you once wore to protect your heart slips away, replaced by a gentle openness, a willingness to meet each moment with curiosity rather than resistance. Forgiveness ceases to be a difficult task and becomes a natural letting go, a return to the original innocence beneath every story of hurt. Like the moon shedding its shadow night after night, you release what is heavy and reveal the light that was never lost. Let yourself befriend the unknown. The person you long to be is not a fixed destination, but a living dance with mystery, with not knowing, with surrender. Life is not a puzzle to be solved, but a relationship to be experienced. When you stop needing every answer, you discover a spaciousness that allows life to surprise you, to move you, to shape you in ways your mind could never orchestrate. The soul thrives not on certainty, but on wonder. Let your intentions be clear, but your grip be gentle. Desire what sets your heart alight, but do not bind your worth to the outcomes. Your truest fulfillment comes not from possessing, but from participating, from saying yes to the call that rises from your depths, even when you do not know where it will lead. Each step you take in faith expands the horizon of what is possible. Each act of courage becomes a silent teacher to those who watch, even from afar. Notice how the more you release your need for control, the more ease finds its way into your life. Where once you pushed, now you invite. Where once you demanded, now you allow. The world may not always mirror back your intentions in the form you expect, but trust that it always responds to the energy of your being. As you embody alignment, the world rearranges itself around your presence. People are drawn, opportunities emerge, challenges transform into doorways you never could have predicted. You are not alone in this unfolding. Though the path of authenticity may sometimes feel solitary, it is shared by every soul who has ever longed to remember, to awaken, to come home. There is a quiet fellowship that transcends time and space, a communion of hearts choosing to live in truth rather than in fear. When you open yourself to this field, you will sense it a warmth, a reassurance, a subtle guidance that nudges you onward when the way seems unclear. Trust the wisdom of your own becoming. Trust that the very same force that grew you from a single cell, that beat your heart before you even had words for longing, is still at work within you. Your intuition is not a vague hunch, but the language of the soul. It is the current of life speaking in sensations, in quiet knowing, in the gentle ache that says, this is the way. Listen, even when it leads you where reason cannot follow. Listen, for in that listening, you are led by something far more enduring than the logic of the mind. Celebrate the beauty of your contradictions. You are both fierce and tender, both fragile and strong, both ancient and new in every moment. There is no need to resolve these opposites. Like the wave in the ocean, you are both the individual and the infinite, both the story and the silence that holds it. Allow yourself to be fully human and fully divine, imperfect in action, yet perfect in essence. In this embrace, you become a sanctuary not only for yourself, but for everyone who longs to belong. Remember, there is no arrival. The person you want to be is not a static state, but a living presence, a soul who says yes to the dance of each day, who greets each dawn as a sacred opportunity to remember to choose to love again. The world does not need another performer, another masked success story. The world needs you authentic, awake, and whole, showing what it means to live from the inside out. Let your life be your greatest act of faith, not a faith that asks for guarantees, but a faith that trusts the unfolding, even when the way is hidden. Know that every time you choose authenticity over approval, presence over pretense, being over doing, you ripple outwards in ways you may never see, touching lives, igniting courage, awakening hope. This is the quiet revolution, one soul at a time, remembering who they truly are. So breathe into this moment, welcome it as it is, without needing it to be different. Rest in the sufficiency of your own presence, and let the world feel the blessing of a person who has made peace with themselves. You are not here to be someone else. You are here to be the luminous, unrepeatable expression of the divine that only you can be. And as you do, you become the very person you have always longed for, the one who was waiting patiently all along for you to simply say yes. And now, as the evening sun pours gold across the quiet landscape of your soul, let yourself soften into the hush that follows all searching. Here, where effort finally falls away and nothing more must be proven, you become the answer to the question that has followed you through every room, every trial, every sleepless night. Who am I? When I am simply being? You are not the sum of unfinished dreams, nor the echo of past mistakes, nor the flickering image reflected by a world forever distracted by shadows. You are the silent witness behind the dream, the open sky beyond every changing weather. Like the horizon that cradles both dawn and dusk, you hold within you the full spectrum of life, the laughter and the longing, the ache and the awakening, the wounds and the wonder. Let your soul rest now in the recognition that nothing essential was ever missing. The years spent grasping for meaning were never wasted. Each one was a lantern illuminating the path back to yourself. All the longing was a kind of prayer answered now by your willingness to come home to the present. There is nothing left to seek, nothing left to earn, only a quiet surrender to the miracle of your own existence. You are the calm at the center of the world's turning, the gentle rhythm beneath the noise, the unwavering light that remains after every storm has spent itself. Do not diminish this light to fit into places that were never meant to contain you. Do not shrink your truth for comfort or acceptance. Let your life rise unbound and authentic, like rivers returning to the sea, like stars blazing undimmed across the velvet night. When you speak, let it be from the deep well of your being, where words arise not to impress, but to bless. When you love, let it be from the fullness that knows love is not a bargain, but a gift spilling over for no reason but that it is your nature to give. When you act, let it be in the spirit of sacred offering, not to fill a void, but because you are already overflowing. Forgive yourself and forgive the world. Carry only what lightens your heart. Release every heavy memory, every unkind word ever spoken in fear. Let them return to the nothingness from which they came. Remember that what endures is not the wound, but the healing, not the mistake, but the grace that gathers after, not the fear, but the love that quietly outlasts it all. You are not the noise. You are the silence in which it plays. You are not the striving. You are the breath that rises before the first thought of effort. You are not the story. You are the space in which the story is told, the presence in which all things come and go. And in this presence, you discover the freedom that can never be given or taken away. You stand in the light of your own soul, unburdened, unashamed, unhurried. You realize at last that to be the person you want to be is not to become someone else, but to return with open arms and quiet awe to who you already are. The sages have always known, the poets have always sung, the peace you seek is not waiting on the far side of achievement. It is here, in the simplicity of being, in the holy ordinariness of a single breath. This is your sanctuary. This is your rebirth. This is the gentle revolution that begins in your own heart and radiates quietly into the heart of the world. Let your days unfold from this awareness. Walk softly, speak gently, live fully. Meet each moment as a guest from beyond time, bringing gifts you cannot measure, miracles you do not need to understand. And when the noise of the world rises again, when old patterns call you back into the trance of forgetting, simply pause, return, remember, you are the soul beneath the surface. You are the timeless witness behind the play of forms. You are the beloved, the dreamer, the light. There is nowhere else you need to go. There is nothing else you need to prove. There is only this infinite permission to be utterly, luminously, and divinely yourself. Let this be the quiet anthem of your days. I am here, I am whole. I am the person I was always seeking. And let the universe, in all its silent knowing, smile upon you as you finally become not someone else, but the radiant, unrepeatable soul you were born to be.